All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update, and I did take a couple of days to recoup from everything that has been going on with our dog. To give you guys a quick update, we still have the campaign running for the GoFundMe. I'm leaving 3 different ways that people can help donate for her rehabilitation and to help her get better and diagnosed properly in the comments or in my description of this video. We cannot return her back to normal duty until she gets an MRI. And that MRI is very expensive. It is $3,500. And so we still have the GoFundMe up, and I'm going to continue to give you guys updates if you guys are interested. But today she's almost walking normal. She still can't pull that leg when you yank on it. She doesn't have the ability to pull that leg forward, but she is walking. She can't jump, but she is walking and doing everything pretty much like normal. We have carpet. We actually got some rugs all over the house so that she can get around without slipping because that leg does not have all the strength. But she is getting better little by little every single day. So I do appreciate all the support for people who have donated and helped get us to this point. It has paid for her all of her stuff so far, and we just need to get to that level where we can get that MRI done and hopefully get her in the clear. All right, now let's talk about DC. If you are new here, just know that if you're new to my channel and you're coming in, I have no love for David Zaslav. I have no love for James Gunn. I do not think they're doing the right thing with DC. I hope I am proven wrong with Superman, but I don't mince words. I tell you guys exactly how I feel about the information that's being put out on the internet, and I'm going to always give my commentary on it. And you may not like it, but hey, I'm very honest with what I like and what I talk about. And so we're going to look at the DC stuff here. So let's take a look. All right, so the first photo I have here, and this comes from Empire Magazine, it says, "Don't expect Joker to become Gotham's clown prince of crime in Folie à Deux," director says. And I didn't expect that anyway, because he is not the real Joker from the real Batman universe. This is definitely an Elseworlds take on this, and not in the continuity of where even Batman exists. So it is definitely something entirely different. Now, this was pretty cool. This is from Jim Lee. And here's what he said. "Here is my Justice League Unlimited variant cover as shared at the Jim Lee and Friends panel at Comic-Con. Coming this November from the amazing team of legendary writer Mark Waid Writer and superstar artist Dan Mora. This new title brings back the league back into the core lineup after a 2-year break. Reserve your copy now at local comic shops." This I'm actually excited for. I love the Justice League, and it's good to see these characters coming back into the fold, and I am very much looking forward to this comic being released, and I really like Dan Mora's art. I think he is phenomenal. He's done a great job on World's Finest. So here is Jim Lee on the new DC logo. He says, "In the minds of many fans, myself included, this logo is the mark that defined the DC brand. It's exciting to see Peter Safran and James Gunn bring it back." He had a lot more to say. I'm not going to read through all of it. But the gist of this is, well, and this is how I feel about this too. I do not hate this new logo. I talked about this in my previous video. I think it's lazy coming up with it. All they did was pick out something. But here's the thing. They know that most people going to the movies are familiar with that logo. It's what they used in the late 70s and into the 80s, and I think maybe even in the 90s too. It's what I grew up with. It's my favorite DC logo. It's what I remember on all the comic books that I own. And so they're trying to cater to those individuals who are going to have this nostalgic take on it. It's still very cheap, though. There was no thought behind it. The writing for studio, DC Studios is very generic. We're going to take a look at it here, and we're also going to look at where this actually derived from. Again, Jim Lee says this, or not Jim Lee, but Peter Safran and James Gunn, they said they came up with this, but there is proof out there that they certainly did not come up with this. It's actually something they took off of something else. And we're going to take a look at that here in a minute. So it says, "During an interview with My Cosmic Circus at GalaxyCon Raleigh, Xolo, and I don't know how you say his name. I'm not going to even try to say it. People tell me I say it wrong all the time. Confirmed that Kumail Nanjiani has been cast as Booster Gold. So I don't think Warner Brothers is going to be happy with this, but he would be in the know. He's coming back as Blue Beetle. Again, the worst performing projects in the DCEU get to come back in the new DCU, which is mind-boggling. All the projects that made money, all those people got the boot and are gone. And so, again, it's just very weird. And nothing against these actors. In fact, I like Kumail a lot. I think he's a great actor. He's great at comedy. But he looks nothing like Booster Gold. And again, I keep telling people, James Gunn cannot do one-to-one comic depictions of these characters. He just can't do it. So I thought this was pretty cool. I will be picking this up. It says Super Friends, the complete collection, is coming to Blu-ray from Warner Brothers on September 10th. I am looking forward to this. So this should be pretty cool. I remember watching these when I was a little kid, and so I'm looking forward to getting this as soon as it gets released. That should be pretty cool. So keep an eye out for that if you guys are interested. So it says, this update says Batman Caped Crusader debuts with 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. In the grim Gotham City, affluent philanthropist Bruce Wayne goes beyond his humane, and there's more. But you can see that critics are giving this a high score, which doesn't usually bode well for the general audience. They've already changed the Penguin to a female, which has a lot of people up in arms. Again, I made that case in my last video that there is no reason to do that. Usually you'll change characters to get other people to want to emulate that character, and no one wants to emulate the Penguin. They just don't. It was an unnecessary change. And so I'm not happy with that, but I will be watching this tomorrow. I'm probably going to watch all 8 episodes and get my review up of the series and let you guys know how it compares to something like Batman, the animated series. They did release the intro to this the other day, and I watched the intro, and I really like the intro. I'm not digging the music that they had in the intro, but the look of it is very cool, and you can tell it is definitely a spiritual successor to Batman, the animated series. Now, I thought this was very interesting, and this does, kind of come off the heels of my last video, but it says, we lost the biggest hope and icon from DC only to find him taking on another superhero mantle on the other side, which so far no one dares to try at all. And seeing him in that role, all of Marvel's fans and the actors' fans are united as one and yelled, "Hell yeah, Calvary." This is the best display of stupidity in the DC management team. And I would have to agree with that. The fact that they let him go. There were so many people that wanted to see him back as Superman, and there was no reason to recast him. None whatsoever, other than the fact that he probably cost money that Warner Brothers did not want to shell out. But everybody wanted to see him back as Superman. There was no reason they couldn't bring him back. They just decided to go in a different direction, and I still say that when the new movie comes out, there's going to be a lot of the audience that is expecting, Henry Cavill back, and they're going to feel duped when they go to the theater. Obviously, comic fans know what's going on, but the general audience does not. And the last the general audience saw him, he was coming back from Black Adam. And they still have yet to explain how this new universe starts. But apparently it's a soft reboot, and they're probably not going to explain anything. So Isabella Merced on David Corenswet's portrayal of Superman. The man is an angel. He is very much Superman. That's good to hear. I have nothing against any of the actors in this movie. My only issue is with James Gunn himself. I don't like the cheap look of the film. I don't like the costume. The costume looks amazing from behind, but when you look at it from the front with all the wrinkles and everything else, the suit just does not look good. Now, I laughed. I put this up on my social media yesterday. James Gunn said yesterday that they have officially finished filming Superman. And I laughed at this description because this was exactly Henry Cavill. It says, and that's a wrap. God bless our cast and crew whose commitment, creativity, and hard work have brought this project to life. I set out to make a movie about a good man in a world that isn't always so much. It's exactly what happened with Cavill. And the goodness and kindness and love I've encountered on a daily basis. And so this was not from the last day of filming, by the way. Apparently this was in the first couple of weeks of filming. back when they were in the snow. And so this is just what he posted to signify the end of filming. And yeah, we'll see when it actually gets released if it's any good. But everything looks cheap by standards of everything else that's been released for comic book movies in the last decade and a half. All right, so this goes back to what I mentioned before. There was a fan fiction thing going on, and it says Superman Lives animated teaser and starring Nicolas Cage. Somebody had created this logo to promote this, and it says, so James Gunn stole the new DC logo idea from a fan-made animation for Nick Cage Superman. He was lying about working hard for months on it, and he said he was laughing. And it's true. The DC Studios, the font is exactly the same. It's the same logo. In fact, this logo would have been cooler than just the flat one that they did. I like the look of this 3D look to it. Instead, we got something even cheaper, but it's a direct draw from this. It's the same font. It's the same everything. And so, again, James Gunn has been known to do this in the past. Now, this also cracked me up because this is exactly what they did in the MCU. It says DC Studios James Gunn on the DCU versus the MCU. He said, we are telling a big, huge central story that is like Marvel, except for I think that we're a lot more planned out than Marvel from the beginning because we've gotten a group of writers together to work that story out completely. I really hope this is the case. Guys, I'm not one of those hoping and praying that the DCU fails, but everything I've seen up to this point says it's cheap and that they're not going to be taking these superheroes seriously. And there's something else I'm going to show you here in a minute that is a direct rip off of the MCU as well, which I can't even believe that they printed these, but we'll take a look at that here in a minute. Here it is. So it's a Superman collectible that it was apparently something I think you could have gotten at the Comic-Con. I'm not sure where this originates from, but it says at the top, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. There's actually one that looks like it was signed by David Corenswet. So there's a number of these floating around. Earth's Mightiest Heroes was already in the MCU. They're using the same tagline. That, to me, is a little bit ridiculous. I don't mind this card, though. A lot of people were hating on this. This definitely harkens back to the 80s. It looks like a card you would have gotten back in the 80s. And, David Corenswet himself, I don't think he looks bad as Superman. I don't like the suit. But I could see how he could pull off the character. After seeing him talk and everything in the new Twisters film, I could see him playing this character. I'm not hoping the movie fails, but I don't have hope that it's going to succeed. Now, I thought this was interesting, and this came from an outlet, but it says, Warner Brothers Discovery employees are aware of Zaslav's callous behavior. He's enjoying himself now in Paris, while his studio is on the brink of disaster. A former Warner Brothers Discovery employee snitched that Zaslav tanked the company stock, effed up the movie studio, pissed off the creatives, among many others. And here's what the actual article said. This was what this person commented on, and then they posted a part of this article. And there's a lot of crap that's been going on where Zaslav is trying to destroy, the NBA. And this is crazy, but here's what it says. For many current and former Warner Brothers Discovery employees watching the NBA saga unfold back at home, Zaz's presence in Paris calls to mind his decision to throw a lavish party in Cannes amid an earlier round of cost cuts and while the labor wars in town began to rage. Some have resigned themselves to the idea that the juxtapositions will be the norm. Others, not so much. As one former Warner Brothers Discovery employee texted on Friday, he killed CNN, tanked the company stock, ruined the Turner sales team by draining it of its talents, lost the NBA, almost killed Turner Classic Movies, ruined lives by running the place like a PowerPoint document instead of one filled with uniquely talented individuals. Effed up the movie studio, pissed off the creatives, and more. All of his own self-enrichment. Mind-boggling that he's still there. Well, the reason he's still there is because he owns the company. And he was the worst person to take over this company because he obviously does not care about these properties. All right, so that's all the DC stuff that has come out since my last update. I know a lot of you guys said you like these longer updates, and as long as there's enough information that comes out, I will continue to do the longer updates. But again, if you're new here, And even if you're returning, if you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I will always tell you guys exactly the way it is. I don't mince words. People hate the truth, and I'm okay with that. I've come to terms with it, and I'm always going to continue to tout what I like and what I hope will happen and what I see in the production. I hope to be, blown away by Superman, but nothing I've seen so far indicates that that's even a possibility. All right, guys, there's my update for the day. I do appreciate all the support. We will see you on the next video.